what's up, y'all? I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to learn how to play Suzie Q, but we're going to learn to play it correctly with the monotonic bass, and we're going to use my B.u.i.l.d method to teach you actually how to learn how to do that, mechanic. It's not just as simple as looking at the tabs and going through slowly, which is probably the way that most of y'all have tried it already. The B.u.i.l.d method builds it up from rhythm first. So here's the basic idea of the B.u.i.l.d method. Instead of learning the riff all notes at once, just kind of going through, slowly and without rhythm, that's how most people learn stuff. The B.u.i.l.d method, however, emphasizes right away learning stuff with rhythm. Everything that we play on the guitar is rhythmic, and it's really easy to forget that and not do rhythms when you're practicing. Let's jump right into the B.u.i.l.d method. You'll get the idea of it right away. So we're gonna set the metronome up at 80. So this is the full riff. And what we do with the B.u.i.l.d method, instead of starting with the melody, and then somehow trying to put the monotonic bass underneath it, instead it reverses that and it puts the monotonic bass, the rhythm part, as the foundation. This is the most important part. So what we do is we start with the foundation and then we slowly start adding the melody on top. This whole thing is 7 steps. At step 7, you've got the whole riff. Step 1 is going to be just this. Okay, I'm gonna do all these steps with the metronome. That's step 1. Step 2 is we're just gonna add one more note of the melody. Step 3, adding one more note of the melody, and so on until you've got the whole riff. Let's just start the process. I'm gonna play each step. Let's try to repeat it 4 times. For your own practice though, you should aim to try to do each step 6 times in a row without any huge mistakes. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but try to make it as good as possible, like no mistakes, 6 times in a row, then move on to the next step. 6 times is kind of the magic number for locking things in my experience. Let's check it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Second measure, 1, 2, 3. Then third fret, 1, 2. That's the foundation, okay? So step 1 actually adds 3 notes because it's really easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. A few more times. One thing also to take a note is notice how I'm giving a lot of attitude on these notes, a lot of just power and push on these notes. I'm really slapping them and really, really pulling those notes hard. There's something about that helps accelerate your progress. It helps your muscles develop things faster. I think it also helps with the mind-muscle connection. So when you're practicing, if you can, try to give it a lot of extra energy, a lot of extra. In my opinion, you almost can't go too far with that amount of energy. Let's go to step 2, adding one more melody note. 2, 3, 4. Again. Couple more. One more. Let's move right into step 3. 1, 2, step 3, go. Notice the hammer on. couple more times. What you'll notice on step 3 that's really difficult is adding in a hammer-on simultaneously with a pluck with the right hand. I'm holding my hand up here so you can see both hands at once, plucking index finger, and then while this hand slams down, that's the motion that takes the bass note. So what you're trying to do is line up this motion, the slam hammer-on down, with this motion. And even though you know how to do that, even though you're watching me do it and it seems easy, I promise that's gonna be a place that gets you stuck. It's really, really difficult. It's something that you're gonna have to isolate. And don't play it up here. I'm just doing it like this so you can see both my hands at the same time. Down here. In context. Right? Okay, step 4 just adds an extra melody note. Let's go to step 4. 1, 2, step 4, go. One thing you'll notice here, switch to middle finger here, string set 6, 5, 4. What I mean by that is when you get to this note, you want to start plucking that string, that D string, with your middle finger. If you're a multi-finger user like I am. If you're just using your index finger, good luck getting things fast enough, but you won't have to worry about this switching string sets as much, at least. But with one index finger, you're gonna have to switch strings every time, which gives its own challenges. But check it out. The reason we switch to middle finger here is because the next note after that, we're going, so it goes quickly from this note to an open A string. And it's much easier if you use finger pairs like this and you set it up in advance to use your middle finger on this step 4, okay? Let's move on to step 5. 1, 2, ready, go. Step 5. Step 5 is hard. Step 5 is really tricky, and you might want to, if you really just cannot do step 5, but you've been successful at all the other steps, I'll give you permission to skip to step 6. Sometimes step 6 might be a little bit easier. Step 7 is the whole riff. The reason step 6 might be easier is because it kind of, it's almost the full riff, so you'll be able to kind of hear your place. Step 5 almost feels like, it really feels like something's missing there. But this is the method. This is the B.u.i.l.d. method. Go through these steps. This is the best way for you to learn rhythmically how to play monotonic bass riffs like this, okay? Step 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. One thing you'll notice on step 6, again, hammer on. You're gonna have to line that up. That's not gonna be something that's easy. I promise it seems like it's easy, but it's gonna be a spot that gets y'all stuck. I know it got me stuck for a long time. You have to work on that mechanic separately. Your tendency is gonna wanna be to do this. Plucking twice, but that's a serious, speed limit thing. You know, it really, it holds back your speed. All right, you guys know what's up next. It's step 7, the full riff. By the way, these tabs, if you want to print them out, just join FJ members and they're available to download to print out. Also, that supports the channel and I appreciate your support in advance. So thank you. Let's go to full riff, step 7. 1, 2, full riff, go. On this last one, you know, one thing, you know, I've been playing this note the whole time. You notice the little arrow that says up and then 1/2. It just means to give it a little blues bend. How important is that? Not really very important at all. You don't have to do that. I really just think that you should give it some attitude. Ways I like to give it attitude is sometimes like give it a nice, good, solid rip like that. Like that. Or sometimes I find myself doing a weird vibrato, which just kind of, it just kind of brings the note out as well. So like this. You know, the way that they play it and the, you know, the way the song actually goes, it just gives it a tiny little blues curl. It's just at the end of the note, bend it up a little bit, just tiny bit. And now for the easiest part of the whole riff. Once you've done all that, it goes to this part, C, B7, back to the riff. So let me put that in context. So you have the riff, A, C, B7, back to riff. Now this song has a bunch of fun stuff in it. You know, it actually, in some of the live versions, they quote Smokestack Lightning. Which is a really fun riff. I've got another video on that. You can check that out over here. And then there's also some really cool soloing strategies. Let's save that for a different lesson because this lesson's about the B.u.i.l.d. method. I want you to learn the B.u.i.l.d. method so that y'all can learn how to play these monotonic bass songs much faster and with a different method than what everybody else teaches. Everyone else just teaches like, you know, try to put the notes together. Like that, you know, it doesn't work. You got to start with the rhythm and you got to start with that foundation, which in this case is the thumb. It's the monotonic thing. This has got to keep going. And if you don't put that as a foundation, honestly, it's really, really hard to get the riff otherwise with this thing. And if you can't do the monotonic bass, then just play the riff like this. And that's almost just as fun. And then when you're ready, do the B.u.i.l.d. method to add the monotonic bass. I love this song. I had fun showing y'all. Have fun playing it. I'll see y'all in the next one. Take care.